Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Mushroom podcast, the cricket edition. Hi, my name is Dipen Mushroom, and a passionate cricketer since the last 40 plus years. Still playing cricket, even as of today, for certain sports clubs. And a lot of my friends have told me, since you love talking about cricket, and since you do have a good understanding of the game, why don't you launch your own podcast on it? So, here I am. What better way to kick off this podcast series than to talk about the Border Gavaskar Trophy happening between India and Australia starting on November 22nd. How big is this Border Gavaskar Trophy? Let's look at it from the ICC point of view. I think since recent times, maybe it happened a long time back, but since recent times, this is the first instance where we're playing a full-blown 5 test match series between India and Australia. This just shows how much importance ICC is playing to this, is giving to this particular test series. Let's look at it from the fan point of view. Whether you're an Aussie fan, Team India fan, or whether you're a fan of cricket. Since 2001, we have seen some epic encounters between these two test nations. And do not forget, as of today, these two nations, India and Australia, are the best test playing nations. The best, number 2, number 1, doesn't matter what they are, but we are at the top of the table, India and Australia. So it's like basically two prize fighters fighting it out for the trophy. Then we look at it from the Australian point of view, the Australian team point of view. Now we all know that Australians are very passionate about their sports. The sporting culture is very deep rooted in the Australian psyche. They hate losing. And trust me, they are really looking forward to winning this test series because they do not want that tag to be attached to them that they have lost the last 3 test matches, the 3 test series at home against India, 3 in a row. They do not want that, and they're really desperate to not lose this test series. Look at the kind of preparations they're doing. Since the last 3 months, the key players have been rested. Pat Cummins, the captain, has been rested very well. A lot of the players have playing Sheffield Shield cricket, getting a lot of practice in. A lot of these players are also playing the one-day series against Pakistan. A lot of cricket they're playing, and they're preparing really well for this particular test series since the last 3 months. Also, look at the record. In the last 10 Border Gavaskar Trophy test series, India has won 7 of them. And that is, in the last 10 years, India holds the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Now, I know since 2020, one of the I would say almost a David versus Goliath test matches where India against all odds won the test series there. Australia has taken revenge, some kind of revenge against us. They have won they beat us at the World Test Championship final. They beat us surprisingly and shockingly. Not surprisingly, that's the wrong word to use, but it was a shock to a lot of Indian fans where Australia beat us in the ODI final in 2023. So they have taken some kind of revenge against us, but that is not enough for them. They do not have the Border Gavaskar Trophy in their cabinet since the last 10 years, and they are really desperate to get their hands on it. And that is from the Australian point of view. From the India point of view, from Team India point of view, we have so many greats. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and some other players also. Most probably, they are not going to be around when India visits Australia again. I think probably 4 years down the track. We hope so. We hope that these guys keep playing forever, but it's not going to happen. Now, for them, if they can win this test matches, if they can win this series against Australia, it's a big boost for them. They sign off with a huge victory under their belts. And what better way to do that than to beat Australia in Australia? So you can see that a lot of There's a lot of factors which makes this test series so interesting and so important. And do not forget the other aspect of it. We have the World Test Championship points to worry about. Both these nations, Australia and India, are looking to win some matches to gain those very important World Test Championship points so that they qualify for the World Test Championship finals next year. Now we come down to the second part of this podcast. I have been watching India, obviously watching cricket, a lot of cricket, and my wife says you're a bit crazy. You even watch a Ranji Trophy sometimes on TV. And what I've been noticing is that India has this very bad habit of losing the first test match of a series. I don't really know what happens to them. They seem to be flat-footed, not really into it, and for some reason they just don't seem to bring everything together. And in the first test match, when they lose the first test match, suddenly they get everything organized. They become motivated. They become aggressive, and then they go and win the next test matches, and then they win the series after that. I pull up the records, and I saw that from 2001, the very epic match that happened in Eden Gardens, we had lost the first test match, and then we went on to win the test series. Recently, when England visited India, we lost the first test match. In 2020, in Australia, we lost the first test match, and then we bounced back to win the test series. As I said, against England, same thing happened. When Australia visited India, we lost the first test match. Sorry about this, there's some big crackers being burst behind. Then we have, as I said, when Australia visited India, we lost the first test match, and then we went on to win the series. Even when Bangladesh visited India just a few months back, India was almost 140 for 6, something like that, in the first innings of the first test match. And then we went on to win the test match. Then we have New Zealand who visited us. They won the first test match, and they went on to win the other 2 test matches also. So it's not every time, and we all know this, it's not every time that you are going to lose the first test match and then bounce back and win the test series, as we saw against New Zealand. Since 2001, I have pulled up some records. We have played 65 test match series, and we have, in 21 of them, we have lost the first test match. That's not a good record. Looking at this, look at how smartly Australia has played. The first test match that they have organized, or they have in their schedule, the first test match they're playing in Perth. They're telling India, I'm going to put you on the spiciest and the fastest track in Australia. Looking at your record of losing the first test match of a series, I'm giving myself the best opportunity to beat you in the first test match. Then the second test match happening in Adelaide. The second test match happening in Adelaide. Now in Adelaide, we all know in the 2020 test series, we in the second innings, 36 all out. So what we're seeing is that Australia has, the schedule has been planned so smartly that they are giving themselves the best opportunity to beat us in the first 2 test matches. Now if Team India can somehow survive these 2 test matches, I don't think so there's going to be 2 draws happening. If India can go 1-0 up, I feel that India will win the test series. Even if Australia go 1-0 up, I still feel India still has a very good chance, because as I said, these two venues are something which is, if we can survive on these 2 venues in these 2 test matches, even if you go 1-0 down, I still feel India has a good chance to bounce back and win the test series. But if you go 1-0 up, the Aussies will be demoralized, and then we will win very easily. That's my prediction. Let's move on to the second part. The second part, obviously, is the Pujara effect. Now, we all know in 2018 and in 2020, Pujara was one of the key factors which made India win the test. If I would say if the most important factor which got us the victory in both those test series. Let's look at his record. In 2018, he scored 521 runs, played or faced 1,258 balls. In 2020, 271 runs, faced 928 balls. Total, we have he scored 792 runs, faced 2,186 balls. Now, yes, runs were important. He scored runs at some very important stages of the test series. But look at the number of balls that he faced. 2,186. If my maths is correct, it works out to approximately 350 overs he played. Now, that is something huge. And the Aussie bowlers who played in both those test series have openly said that we were so frustrated, bowling ball after ball after ball, and this guy not getting out. Pujara, unfortunately, been a scapegoat when India are not performing well. A lot of times when India didn't perform well, the first person they dropped was Pujara. I think unjustifiably. But then he proved himself. Then he showed his worth of what he actually, why is he so important in a test match, when he showed that in 2018 and in 2020. Now let's look at this. When you have, what is the impact of this? First of all, when you have a batter on the other end who is very steady, playing the overs out, the batter at the opposite end gains a lot of confidence, and then he can play his innings as the way he wants to. That's the first part. Second part is when these fast bowlers under hot conditions, they're bowling over after over after over. No matter how mentally fit you are, no matter how physically fit you are going to drain out, and you are going to get fatigued as the series goes on. And in 2020, we saw, at least I felt, that by the time we reached Sydney and Brisbane, the Aussie bowlers were almost demoralized. They were almost, I would say, they were not demoralized, is the wrong word to use, but at least that fatigue factor came into picture, and they were bowling less than 5 to 10% of their optimum levels. The third impact is Nathan Lyon. The way Pujara played Nathan Lyon, and a very key factor, a very key bowler in the Australian bowling squad. He played him out. He went down the track, smothered the spin, his lovely on drives, and basically he played Nathan Lyon out, and he neutralized the threat of Nathan Lyon. That's another factor. Now, by neutralizing the threat of Nathan Lyon, what happens is that when you play Nathan Lyon out, the fast bowlers have to come back and bowl extra overs. So that again is a factor. So when you have, then again the fast bowlers come back, again they have to keep bowling more overs, and the more overs you bowl, you're going to get fatigued, you're going to get tired, and then the other batters can take advantage. And as the series progresses, don't forget in 2020, Australians played with almost the same bowling attack in all the 4 test matches, and that affected them. So, who's going to be the Pujara in this test match series? Who is going to be the one person who's going to keep playing out those overs and make sure that the Australians get tired? And we all know that in Australia, especially the ball that they use, the Kookaburra ball, once the first 2 hours go by, then it becomes quite easy to play that. The conditions become better, the ball does not swing that much, and then it is easier to make runs and make big runs. So who's going to be the Pujara in this test match series? Other factor. Yes, with very sorry to Travis Head, but one of my most favorite players. I love the way he bats, but I call him the Travis Headache. Look at the World Test Championship final. Travis Head made 181 runs total. In the one day final, the World Cup final, he made 137 runs. I think for in Team India to win this series, they need to keep this guy quiet and very quiet. I mean, we know that throughout this five Test match series, he will make some runs. Sometimes, in some innings, he will score runs. But overall, we need to keep him quiet. If do not keep him quiet, he can score big and he can score those runs very fast, and that can be a big problem for Team India. I think Travis Head, yes, besides Steve Smith and besides Marcus Labuschagne, I feel that he is one of the key players in the Australian batting lineup. Obviously, we have Usman Khwaja and other players also. But if we can keep this person quiet, then we have a good chance to win the Test series, and we hope for the best. Then we talk about Cameron Green. Now, I've been reading a lot of Aussie newspapers online, listening to a lot of their own podcasts, and they are saying yes, Cameron Green was a very important person to lose, very important player to lose. He's unfit, he won't be playing the rest of the Test series. But since even Shami is not playing, so it's kind of balanced out. And I think they're quite wrong about that. Yes, Shami is a big loss to Team India, no doubt about that. But Cameron Green not only is like a quality fifth bowler, following up these four greats of Australian cricket, the four bowlers of Australian cricket. Then we have the fifth bowler who he himself is at most not at par but a very good bowler himself. Not only that, an excellent batter. But one aspect they also have not talked about is that he's a brilliant fielder. And when you put him in the slips, you put him in the gully, he has taken some amazing catches, and his fielding also will be missed. So, good for us, isn't it, Team India? Then we talk about obviously the Indian bowling attack. We all know how good the Aussie bowling attack is. Obviously, Bumrah, with Shami missing, Bumrah is obviously going to be a very key factor. Yes, he is the best bowler in the world across all formats, and he will have an impact in this Test match series. If he doesn't have an impact, then India is in trouble. But what the Aussie batters are going to do is they're going to play him out as cautiously as possible. And then what they're going to do is once Bumrah is done, or at the other end, they're going to attack Shiraz and bowlers like Akash Deep and whoever else is there. I think probably we'll have Nitish Kumar Reddy there, and we'll have the spinner also. What I feel is that in this scenario, Mohammad Shiraz is a very key bowler for us. Because if they're going to play out Bumrah as cautiously as possible, yes, they will lose one or two wickets against him, that's for sure. But, or at least that's probable. But then when they're going to start attacking likes of Shiraz. Now Shiraz has got the experience of playing in Australia, of bowling in Australia. And I think this is the series in which he has to do very well for Team India to win. And I think he is one of the most, as Bumrah obviously is, but I think he's going to be a very key factor in this Test match, in these Test matches. Then we talk about one player, yes, we have who are going to be the important players for Team India. Obviously, we have the Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli, when it comes to Australia, is a whole different person, a whole different cricketer. And I'm pretty sure that he is really fired up to play very well in Australia. Yeah, Virat Kohli is the talisman of the team India. If he performs well, the team performs well. If he does not perform well, the team is under pressure. We all know all about this. We all know about the impact of Rohit Sharma. Congratulations to his second child, and hope he is there for the next for the second Test match, if not for the first. And then we have the other players. We have the Pant, the X Factor, and that's one person I'm really looking forward to seeing him in this Test series. KL Rahul, all those people are going to be, and Jaiswal obviously, are going to be very important players for Team India. We all know for any team and to win a Test match series, all players need to perform very well, sometime or the other. But I feel another key player which I am looking forward to, and I have a feeling that this person is going to do really well, is Nitish Kumar Reddy. Something about him I really like. When I see his poise, when I see his confidence, he's very calm, and he's a kind of an all-rounder that we are looking for especially when Hardik Pandya is not playing Test matches anymore. I think if this guy, I have a feeling this guy can do well, and if he does well, it's a big plus point for Team India. So overall, yes, a lot of Aussie media are talking about Australia going to win. Obviously, they're going to say that. Indian media, Indian experts are going to say that Team India is going to win. A lot of people are saying that in Australia are the favourites. Yes, they may be. A lot of people saying is that Team India is under pressure after losing to New Zealand 3-0. Yes, that is also true, no doubt about that. But I feel that the pressure is on Australia. Australia are more under pressure than India. If Team India, if they go ahead and lose the Test match series, they say, okay, chalo, they say, okay, fine, it's Australia, we lost in Australia. At home conditions, Aussies are a better side. But the pressure, if Australia loses Test match series and go 3-0 down, last 3 consecutive Test series they lost to India in Australia, is going to be a huge problem for them. And if that happens, they're going to see a lot of backlash happening against Team Australia. So I feel that, coming back to the point, what I said was that if he can survive these first 2 Test matches, if he do well in these first 2 Test matches, Australia are going to be blown away by Team India. Blown away, not this. We are all going to have some very interesting Test matches, but in the blown away in the sense that I feel that Team India will go on and win the Test series. So the pressure actually is on Australia, not on India. And India, I hope they realize this. I mean, obviously they are very professional cricketers, they know what they're doing. If, once again, I keep repeating this again and again, but I just feel that these first 2 Test matches are so very important. Best of luck to Team India, best of luck to Team India, best of luck to Team Australia. I am a very big fan of Australian cricket also, as you can see from these 2 caps that I have in front of me. I just hope that we have some very interesting Test matches, and yes, of course, as an Indian, we hope Team India wins. And this concludes my first episode of my podcast. I hope you liked it. Let's look at some comments. What do you think about who's going to win this Test match series? Who are going to be the key players for Team India? And please like and subscribe to this channel if you found this podcast interesting. And when the Test series starts, obviously I'll be posting quite regularly we'll talk about the Test matches that happen as they go. Another point that it's really kind of irritating to me is that the IPL auction. You cannot have an IPL auction happening in between while a Test match is going on. Such an important Test match is going on. you cannot have the IPL auction. I think BCCI made a very bad decision in that, because no matter what happens, I know again we're talking about very professional cricketers, but there are some cricketers in Team India who are the senior players in their franchisees. They are kind of involved in the team selection also, and no matter what, even that 1% distraction can prove to be something very fatal, right? I just felt, I mean, what was the need to have this in between a test match? You can have it after a couple of days. What difference it makes? Something which I don't really like about BCCI. Why have this IPL auction right in between in the first test match? That's something which I didn't really like. What do you think about that? Anyway, that's the end of my first episode. I hope you liked it, and hope to see you often listening to this podcast. And as I said, please like and subscribe if you like this podcast. Take care. See you soon. Goodbye.